introduce yourself to the camera?
Yes, I'm Dan. I'm one of the events managers at Soup Kitchen in the Northern Quarter.
How long have you been here in the Northern Quarter?
Myself or the venue?
Well, how long have you been here yourself?
I've been here for a year.
They're staying in.
About the show.
Sorry?
Want to say something to the camera about the show? Stadiumagazine.
Show's over. Filming the revenue, that's what's filming. The show's over, he's on his way to Paris. What do you want to do?
What did you think of the show?
I got an answer for that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the show's been great. Overwhelmingly positive response. Feels like it's really connected with people who are fans of the brand. Seems to really awoken people's love for Adidas. It's nice the way that we present modern products in the context of vintage products, and also to show the lineage of sports technologies that have been developed through Adidas footwear from the 60s right through to 2014, things like Boost.
Okay. And where's it going to next?
Paris.
And do you hope it has the same sort of impact there?
It's the first time we're taking it outside the UK. It'll be interesting to see because there's a really strong connection between Adidas and France. A lot of the manufacturing was done in France in the 1980s. But France doesn't necessarily have the same subcultures that we have in the UK. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the response is.
Alright, what's your name?
My name's Gary Aston and I curated the exhibition and I executed it.
Good. Alright, thanks a lot.
Essentially, amongst other things, I get paid to listen to music in a club, and you can't really beat that.
What have been the best bits of your career so far and the worst bits?
Worst bits of the late nights.
Able to say what you want, where you want, without having to think that is going to come back on you.
This exhibition, for me personally, makes me realise the impact and importance of Manchester music over the last 20 or so years.
It's a big city, there's lots going on culturally now, it's more interesting than it's ever been before, and I think maybe people get inspired by that.
But when it comes to Manchester, there's only the music.
Yeah, Northern Town, music's cool.
Friends argue that Liverpool's got more good bands than Manchester, and I always take the Manchester side over that one.
So the Stone Roses, the Happy Mondays, all that baggy stuff when that happened, when I was growing up and stuff, it was the music that I was into. It said something to me about my life. That's a Smiths lyric. Yes. Yeah, the music that they constantly played says nothing to me about my life. Apart from those, they were really good.
My teenage years, New Order was the band that I really was into.
I really liked New Order, really liked Depeche Mode, Ultra Rocks.
And it was just so exciting, the whole thing, getting Peter Saville record covers.
What else? Visage.
Love the records that he designed the covers for, New Order and Joy Division and all that.
Blue Monday was like such a big track for me in respect of sort of like the bit of sort of like, it was like dance but indie at the same time, and I really like dance music and or techno music, and so it's sort of like this, the happy medium of getting them both styles of music in one, so it was very, very, very important to me.
I think it was a real treat being born in Manchester, living in Manchester at the time when you had a band that was just amazing. And not just kind of knocking out tracks, but great artwork and a nightclub as well. It was just really special and important to the city.
A big part of that will be the music scene. I mean, I'm really into Manchester music and music in general, but the music in Manchester is something that kind of encapsulates the sort of music that I like.
I moved to Manchester because I'm really into the Smiths actually, and the Stone Roses, the Happy Mondays and all that, all my favourite music when I was growing up.
The first thing you do when you start liking things and things, look back to see where it's come from, and look back and find out that a lot of it originated from Manchester. I mean, gosh, in the 90s, I mean, of course, Mad Manchester, I mean, that was like the place to be. artists coming later on, and I suppose in Spiral Carpets and Stone Roses.
It's very rare you get a town that produces as much really good quality as Manchester does.
Manchester music for me is very, very important again, because it's like it was sort of the beginnings of something that was really, what is it, classic style, and something that will be remembered for years to come.
A remarkable individual called Tony Wilson in Manchester, who worked for the local television network as a serious news reporter, but he had passion for music and he had a passion for the punk movement and believed that it was important. Malcolm McLaren, who managed the Sex Pistols, was a kind of Bengali character to Tony Wilson, and Tony wanted to make the same thing happen in Manchester, so he organised a club night. And I found out and went to say, Mr. Wilson, can I do something? So I did a poster. And that was the beginning of the factory. And 78. And it went on for another 14 years, which was kind of exceptional, really. It never became a real company. It was referred to as a record company, but it wasn't really a record company. There were no contracts. There were no advances. There were no contracts. There was no commitment to anybody to stay. And bands did what they wanted, as they pleased. And they worked within the capabilities of the cash flow. And so they had kind of freedom, they had autonomy to do as they wished. And the downside was that they didn't get an advance. No one gave them £100,000 to buy drugs and sleep all day. And there was no advertising. There was no money to advertise.
Should we talk a little bit?
Yeah, we should. So, yeah, that was as good as a bit. Let me just finish this bit. That was the context in which Factory developed. By virtue of being there at the beginning, I was a founding partner of what became the record label. And as such, I had my contribution to make. And the image of Factory just defaulted to me. There was no one who'd done it before. There was nobody from the music industry. There was no one who had any idea what they were doing. So everything about the image of Factory and the record covers and the rest of it kind of just defaulted to me. And I set her apart as I felt suitable. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was only 23, 24. I mean, I'd never worked before. I just left college. And I designed for myself. And I thought I was doing graphic design. It's not graphic design in the normal practice of graphic design. You are not your own author in graphic design. But for a decade, I was able to do that. And I spent the second decade, I spent the 90s trying to come to terms with reality. And I did in the end manage to do that, but decided that I didn't really like reality, so I've retired. I have retired from reality now. And opportunities such as this are, in a way, a return for me to where I was at the beginning. The situation here has enabled me to do one or two things which didn't exist before. There's a couple of things in rooms here which this is the first time they've ever happened or been shown.